Okay.
Yay. Happy Tuesday. How did we get here again already? I don't know.
I have no idea, but we are here and it's going to be a great week. I feel it. I sense it.
It is going to be an amazing week. And just so you all know, Carolina and I have finally become technologically efficient. So it's streaming on all of our social media platforms. And so we hope to hear all of your questions and hopefully answer a lot of your questions as well. So
yes, and any feedback, I think Ashley and I are open to getting from anyone that's watching us. And if you guys want to see more, I don't know, specific material being discussed, definitely let us know. We will.
Or any guest, like we'd love to have some lenders in. Any questions that you have, maybe we can get an appraiser on as a guest too, just to answer any questions that can help you add value to your careers. That's our goal here every Tuesday. And so let's get into it. We know we sound like a broken record over here, but the concerns over tariffs are just blowing the market up. So all of our stocks have been going down. The good thing, we have seen a little bit of dip in pricing for that, not significant by any means because we had a huge climb recently as well. So we kind of leveled back out. And so that's why it's important, again, not to hit that clickbait and call us to see what that looks like. But once the tariffs go in and we start to see what that looks like, people are going to have less fear because there's a fear index. Right. And right now the fear index is very high, which is what is causing volatility.
Right. And I did, like you just said, right, we recovered from that climb that we just saw not too long ago, allowing the mortgage rates to kind of go back into that 6% range, which I think it does seem a little bit more appealing, right? Anytime you go into the 7s or the 8s, people kind of get a little frantic, but I definitely see some progress and I'm excited to see buyers come around.
Yeah. And I think, Florida, we're always going to grow because people are always going to move here. I know Tampa area did have the slowest growth, but again, that's why you can't focus on the news and things like that because you have to think about the things that happened. So what happened in Tampa? We had hurricanes and so not everybody was immediately moving there because they were working on rebuilding. And so that's why you saw slower home growth. So that doesn't mean that it's not going to ramp back up, right? So don't let that fear mongering dictate your career is the thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even though Tampa specifically, right, this Tampa market did see that dip in home prices, we are seeing that in January of this year, sales did fall about 5% month over month, but they still seem to have increased 2% year over year. Right. So I think when you look at the big picture, it's like there is progress. It's just slow progress in the market.
Yeah. And it will come back up and around. And as we've seen, like January and February are historical slow. And I think a lot of people are still trying to compare the market to COVID times. That was the lottery, guys. We're not going to see that again.
Artificial. That's what I always tell clients. I'm like, those rates were artificial. We're not going to see them again.
Yeah.
And then again, with lower rates, right? In February, we could support a transaction volume. Like February alone does show a growth of like a 5 to 10% increase in sales volume for the year because of how much it picked up in just that 1 month. So it'll be interesting to see what it looks like as the year goes on, because I know that it is announced or it is expected for the federal rate cuts to come in about May or June. So there's definitely going to be things that we have to look forward to help our buyers feel a little bit more empowered as they start the home purchase process.
And here's the thing, while rates are higher, it's easier for these first-time home buyers. I just saw in an article the other day that first-time home buyers are actually the largest portion of buyers right now. And it's because they're able to get these concessions. They've worked so hard to save money. They don't have that equity. And so it's really important. And even though we've seen stagnant in home prices and maybe lowering, actually year over year, we're at 4.7%. And they've seen the strongest growth in the Mid-Atlantic and New England, which I know isn't directly in Florida, but it's good to see what is happening in the US so that we can see trends and so forth. And home prices in 5 years have risen 53%. What stock do you have that has risen 53% in 5 years? Because I don't know a lot of them.
Yeah, no. We can sit here and wait and see if someone has one, but I don't think anyone will come up. Something else that I want to make sure we mentioned that's in our favor on the mortgage side, right? The 10-year treasury bonds did drop about 40 bips. And that alone is what helped the mortgage rates to fall below that 7% interest rate that we've been seeing, which goes to a point that you constantly make, right? Like, just because the federal rate is cut, it does not mean that mortgage rates are cut. It has an indication on where the 10-year treasury is going. So as we start seeing these cuts, we are going to see a little bit more of a dip on the 10-year treasury. And these are the results of it. It's not going to happen instantly, but it will happen over time.
I think too is that people are waiting for us to go back to pandemic times because that was a rush. It was a high, it always was. We were like booming, right?
Right.
But we're not going to go back to that. That's like asking for a housing bubble again. Like, no one wants that, you know?
Yeah.
And we do have some affordability things that we have to address, but I think that we're in a good place starting those with taxes, insurance reforms coming around. It's not just about rates. We have to think about the big picture of things. And so it's important to look at all aspects of everything. And I think a lot of times we miss the opportunity on that.
I agree. So something that I found interesting as well that I was kind of reading over this past week or weekend was the pending sales hit an all-time low.
Yeah. But I think that's January and February, you know?
Yeah. And it kind of goes to your point, right? It's almost like buyers do have an advantage because these sellers are getting desperate to get these homes sold. So as a buyer, you're able to come in and really negotiate some seller credits. And buy your rate down and get you in a comfortable position, whether that be interest rate or closing costs, whatever it is, right? But I think buyers definitely need to take advantage of this market.
100%. 100%. Because think about, people are complaining about rates, but during COVID, people were paying like $50,000, $100,000, waiving inspections, waiving appraisals. That's what caused that inflation. So now we're settling back down to reality. Like we were living in, honestly, an alternate universe, to be honest. So it's just completely different. And yes, there's economic uncertainty, so it's going to impact that consumer confidence, but we have enough support for housing demand. So it's going to pick back up. I think that lower rates will drive 2025 success. And I think we just have to get used to normalcy again and actually enjoy it. And then we just have to go back to old ways of getting business and making sure we're giving confidence to our clients. And that's why it's good to partner with a broker like us where we can instill that confidence and guide them through it.
Absolutely. I think now is when we're actually having to work our little tails off to make sure that we get, continue our business to grow and everyone's having to put in the work. It's not just on the mortgage side. I see real estate agents out there every weekend. My hat's off to them because they are busting their butts. Like they are showing up for their clients in ways that, I admire. So
yeah. That's amazing. And so we hope to keep adding value. Please message us, email us, anything that works for you. We want to answer your questions. We want to make sure that you're informed and that you can help your buyers be informed. We can teach a class. We can do anything that would be helpful for you guys to be able to build more business. So reach out anytime. And thank you for joining us again.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay.